You think you can hide who you are? Jake Thompson sneered, towering over the new girl in Lincoln High's crowded cafeteria. Sarah Wilson, 16, stood alone, her lunch tray shaking as soup dripped down her jeans. The laughter around her stung, but it was Jake's mocking grin that lit a fire in her chest. She was no ordinary transfer student from Detroit. She was a Michigan junior MMA champion. Her fists trained to break ribs, her secrets locked tight to keep her mother's promise of a normal life. But Jake's cruelty was unraveling that promise fast. In one moment, Sarah's calm eyes met his, a glint of steel flashing through. "I'm not hiding," she said, her voice low, steady. "I'm just hoping you'll back off before I show you who I am." 5 minutes later, Jake would be on his knees, and Lincoln High would never be the same. Don't forget to subscribe if you believe some truths deserve to be told. Sarah's sneakers squeaked on Lincoln High's polished floors as she navigated the crowded halls of Maplewood, Ohio. The morning fog clung to her jacket, a reminder of her new start far from Detroit's gritty gyms. At 16, she blended in, brown ponytail, plain sweatshirt, jeans. Another transfer student in a small town, but beneath her quiet exterior burned 4 years of MMA training, her body honed into a weapon she'd promised her mom, Dr. Laura Wilson, to keep hidden. "Let's be normal here, honey," Laura had said, her eyes pleading after a long hospital shift. Sarah nodded, but the promise felt like a cage. In Detroit, her title as junior champion earned respect. Here, she was just the new girl, invisible until Jake Thompson set his sights on her. It started in the cafeteria first period. Sarah sat alone, picking at a sandwich, when Jake, broad-shouldered and smirking, slid into the seat across from her. "I'm Jake Thompson," he said, his voice loud, his friends Kyle and Matt flanking him. "This is my school. Newbies pay respect. $5 a day for protection." Sarah's jaw tightened, her pulse quickening. "I'm not paying," she said, her voice soft but firm. Jake leaned closer, his breath hot. "You'll learn, city girl. Don't test me. My dad funds the football team. Teachers love me." She stood to leave, but Matt's hand on her shoulder stopped her. "Not done talking," he said. Sarah's eyes narrowed, but she sat, her promise to her mom holding her back. The bullying escalated by Tuesday. In chemistry, Kyle accidentally knocked her notes to the floor, stepping on them with a grin. "Oops," he said. In the hall, Matt shoved her into a locker, her shoulder bruising. "Watch it, new girl," he laughed. Sarah gritted her teeth, her fists itching, but she stayed silent, her training screaming to act. At lunch, Jake upped the ante. With half the football team behind him, he dumped her soup tray onto her lap, the hot liquid soaking her jeans. "Look at the city girl now," he mocked, the cafeteria erupting in laughter. Someone filmed, phones flashing. Sarah stood, soup dripping, her voice cutting through. "You made a mistake, Jake." His laugh was cold. "What, you gonna cry to mommy in the bathroom?" Sarah scrubbed her jeans, her hands shaking, not from fear but rage. 4 years of MA had taught her control, but Jake was testing it. She called her old coach, Master Daniels, in Detroit. "They're pushing me," she said, explaining the harassment. Daniels sighed. "You can't hide forever, Sarah. Bullies like that only stop with strength. Do it smart. No witnesses, no serious harm." Sarah nodded, her decision made. She'd promised her mom normalcy, but normal wasn't worth this. After school, she lingered in the library, waiting for the halls to clear. Jake always stayed late for football practice. She'd face him alone. At 4 p.m., the parking lot was nearly empty, teachers' cars scattered. Sarah spotted Jake leaving the gym, his hoodie slung over his shoulder alone. "Jake," she called, stepping forward. He turned, grinning. "Soup girl's back for more." "I want to talk," she said, her voice steady. "About the cafeteria." He laughed, stepping closer, towering over a 6-foot frame. "What's to talk about? You're a loser, and everyone's gonna know it." Sarah's eyes hardened. "One-on-one, right now. If you win, I'll pay $10 a day, do whatever you say. If I win, you leave me alone and apologize to the school." Jake laughed louder. "You fight me. I bench 300 pounds, kid." "Deal," Sarah said, her calm unnerving him. They moved to the lot's center. No cars, no witnesses. Jake shed his hoodie, flexing his muscled arms, confident. Sarah dropped her jacket, her slim frame unassuming in a t-shirt. "Last chance," he taunted. "Your funeral," she said. He lunged, his fist aiming for her face, fast and heavy. Sarah sidestepped, her forearm blocking with precision, her left fist snapping into his solar plexus. The air left Jake's lungs, his body folding as he gasped, dropping to his knees. What, how? He choked. Never underestimate your opponent, Sarah said, standing over him. MMA, Michigan Junior Champion. That was just a taste. Jake struggled to his feet, clutching his chest, fear replacing his smirk. Okay, he rasped. I'll apologize the next morning. The school buzzed. Jake approached Sarah in the hallway, his voice loud, sincere. I'm sorry for yesterday, he said. I was wrong. The crowd gaped, phones down, whispers spreading. Sarah nodded. Accepted, she said, walking away. The air shifted. Students watched her with awe, not pity. Her promise to her mom was broken, but something else was born: respect. That night, Sarah sat at dinner, her mom's eyes searching. School better? Laura asked. Yeah, Sarah said, a faint smile breaking through. A lot better. She'd faced Jake, reclaimed her strength, but the world was watching. On the news, Iran and Israel's tensions flared, a reminder that strength, like hers, was needed beyond the schoolyard. Sarah Wilson walked through Lincoln High's halls, her steps lighter but her guard still up. Jake Thompson's public apology had shifted the school's pulse. Whispers of awe followed her, not laughter. The new girl from Detroit, once a target, was now a force, her MMA champion past no longer a secret. Yet, Sarah felt the weight of her choice. She'd broken her promise to her mom, Dr. Laura Wilson, to stay under the radar, but hiding hadn't worked. Jake's defeat in the parking lot had freed her, but it also drew eyes, classmates, teachers, even strangers. The TV in the cafeteria flickered with news of Iran and Israel, missile strikes and shaky ceasefires, stirring memories of her own battles. Sarah wasn't just fighting bullies anymore. She was fighting for a place to be herself, and others were starting to look to her for strength. The cafeteria was quieter now, Jake and his crew, Kyle and Matt, keeping their distance, their swagger dimmed. Sarah sat with her tray, no longer alone. A group of girls, led by Claire Evans, a soft-spoken junior, approached hesitantly. Sarah, we heard about Jake, Claire said, her eyes wide. And there's something else. We need help. Sarah set her sandwich down. What's going on? It's these guys from Westside High, Claire said, her voice low. They harass us at the bus stop after school. Yesterday, one grabbed my arm, said I wouldn't get away next time. Sarah's jaw tightened, her pulse quickening. How many? 5, Claire said. Big guys, seniors. Sarah nodded, her MMA instinct stirring. Meet me at the bus stop today, she said. I'll handle it. At 3:45, Sarah sat on a bench near the bus stop, a book in hand, but her eyes sharp, scanning the street. Claire and her friends arrived, nervous, glancing around. Right on cue, the West Side boys swaggered in. 5 of them, led by a tall blonde with a neck tattoo, Ryan Miller. Well, look at the Lincoln princesses, Ryan taunted, stepping toward Claire. Leave us alone, Claire said, her voice shaking. Ryan grinned, reaching for her face. Sarah stood, her book dropping. Step back, she said, her voice calm but firm. Ryan turned, laughing. Who's this? Your bodyguard. I'm Sarah, she said. And you're done here. He towered over her, 6 feet to her 5'4". Get lost, kid, he said, his hand darting toward her shoulder. Sarah moved like lightning. She sidestepped, her elbow snapping back into Ryan's friend's stomach, dropping him to his knees with a gasp. Ryan lunged, but Sarah was faster, her fist slamming into his liver, precise and brutal. He doubled over, a knee to his nose sending him to the pavement, blood trickling. The fight lasted seconds. The other 3 boys froze, eyes wide. Who's next? Sarah asked, her voice steady, her stance ready. No one moved. Take your friend and go, she said, and don't come back. They dragged Ryan away, his groans fading. Claire's eyes shone with awe. How'd you do that? She asked. Long story, Sarah said, smiling faintly. They're done bothering you. The next day, the school buzzed with the bus stop story. Sarah's legend grew. Students whispered about the girl who'd taken down 5 Westside seniors. Claire and her friends trailed her, grateful, emboldened. You're amazing, Claire said in the hall. Sarah shook her head. Just did what needed doing. But the attention felt different now, not pity, but respect. That evening, Sarah told her mom about the fight. Laura sighed, her face torn. I wanted you safe, honey, not fighting. I was safe, Sarah said. And so were those girls. Laura's eyes softened. You're braver than I ever was, she said, hugging her. Sarah felt a weight lift. She wasn't betraying her mom, but honoring her own strength. The TV in their kitchen flickered, a reporter discussing Iran-Israel tensions, U.S. troops on alert. Sarah watched, her mind drifting to her training, the discipline that kept her steady under pressure. She'd fought to protect Claire, just as soldiers fought in far-off conflicts. Her battles were smaller, but the stakes felt just as real. A week later, Claire approached her again. Can you teach us? She asked. Self-defense, so we're not scared anymore. Sarah paused, then nodded. Meet me in the gym after school, she said. Word spread, and by the next day, 20 students, mostly girls, some boys, crowded the wrestling mats. Sarah taught them basic stances, blocks, how to break a hold. Strength isn't just muscle, she said. It's knowing you can stand up. The classes grew, students hanging on her words. Even Jake joined, his head low, his attitude shifted. Sorry again, he muttered after a session. I was an idiot. You're learning, Sarah said, her tone firm but kind. His eyes met hers, grateful. The school's wrestling coach, Mr. Bennett, watched her teach, impressed. You're a natural, Sarah, he said. Let's make this official, part of gym class. Sarah agreed, her purpose solidifying. She wasn't just fighting bullies. She was building strength in others, just as her coach in Detroit had done for her. The news droned on, ceasefire talks faltering, but Sarah felt steady. She'd faced her own war and won. Now, she was helping others do the same. Sarah Wilson moved through Lincoln High with a quiet confidence. Her MA champion past no longer a secret, but a badge of strength. Jake Thompson's apology and her takedown of the West Side bullies had made her a legend among students. Their whispers now filled with awe instead of mockery. Yet, the weight of her actions pressed hard. She'd broken her promise to her mom, Dr. Laura Wilson, to stay invisible, and the attention felt like a spotlight she hadn't asked for. The cafeteria TV blared news of Iran and Israel, drone strikes, U.S., diplomats scrambling for a ceasefire, stirring memories of her Detroit gym, where discipline had forged her into a fighter. Sarah wasn't just battling school bullies anymore. She was grappling with a world on edge, and her role as a protector was pulling her deeper into a fight she couldn't ignore. The school day buzzed with a new rhythm. Claire Evans and her friends, once targets of harassment, now walked taller, their gratitude for Sarah's defense at the bus stop evident in their smiles. Students nodded as Sarah passed, some offering shy thanks, others asking about her self-defense classes. Even Jake's crew, Kyle and Matt, kept their distance, their smirks replaced by quiet respect. But the news on the TV gnawed at Sarah. Iran threatens retaliation after Israeli airstrike, the anchor said, images of soldiers flashing across the screen. Her fists clenched, memories of her coach's voice echoing. Strength is control, Sarah. Use it wisely. She'd used it at the bus stop, but the world's chaos felt bigger, heavier, like a fight she couldn't punch her way through. In history class, Sarah stared at her notebook, the teacher droning about global conflicts. Her mind drifted to Detroit, to sparring sessions, where she'd learned to channel anger into precision. The news felt personal, as if the soldiers on screen were her teammates, their battles an extension of her own. A classmate, Mia, leaned over. You okay, Sarah? She asked, her voice soft. Just thinking, Sarah said, about what's out there. Mia nodded, glancing at the TV. Scary stuff, with Iran and all. You think it'll get worse? Sarah's jaw tightened. It always can, she said. But people keep fighting anyway. Maya's eyes widened, sensing the weight in Sarah's words. At lunch, Claire approached, her tray shaking slightly. Sarah, those West Side guys haven't come back, she said, her voice grateful but nervous. But what if they do? Sarah set her sandwich down. They won't, she said. They learned their lesson. But if they try, I'm here. Claire's shoulders relaxed, but her eyes flicked to the TV, where a reporter discussed U.S. troops deploying to the Gulf. It's like everyone's fighting, she said. Sarah nodded, her mind on the soldiers, on her own fights. You just keep standing up, she said. That's what matters. Claire smiled, her fear easing, and Sarah felt a spark of purpose. She was protecting more than just Claire now. the bullying didn't stop entirely. A younger kid, Ethan, approached Sarah after school, his glasses crooked. Some eighth graders took my backpack, he said, his voice small. They're by the gym. Sarah's pulse quickened, her MMA instincts kicking in. Show me, she said. They found 3 boys tossing Ethan's bag, laughing. Hey, Sarah said, her voice firm. Give it back. The leader, a wiry kid named Dylan, smirked. Or what, tough girl. Sarah stepped closer, her stance calm but ready. You don't want to find out, she said. Dylan hesitated, then tossed the bag to Ethan. Whatever, he muttered, backing off. Ethan clutched his bag, eyes wide. Thanks, Sarah, he said. You're like a superhero. She shook her head. Just a friend, she said, but her heart warmed. That evening, Sarah sat with her mom at dinner, the TV muted but showing missile silos in Iran. Laura noticed her daughter's tension. You're different since the bus stop, she said. Stronger, but worried. Sarah sighed. I broke our promise. Mom, I couldn't stay quiet. Laura reached for her hand. You did what was right, she said. I'm proud even if it scares me. Sarah's eyes stung. Those girls needed me, she said. And there's more out there needing someone. Laura nodded, glancing at the TV, like those soldiers. Sarah's voice softened. Yeah, like them. The news stirred her. War's chaos. Soldiers' courage, her own strength. She wasn't in a ring, but she was still fighting. The next day, Claire and her friends joined Sarah's self-defense class, now packed with 30 students in the gym. Sarah taught them to stand tall, to block, to move with purpose. It's not about hitting hard, she said. It's about staying in control. Jake watched from the back, his arms crossed, his respect clear. You're good at this, he said after class. Should have listened to you sooner. Sarah nodded. You're here now, she said. That's what counts. The principal, Mr. Bennett, approached. Sarah, this class is changing things, he said. Let's expand it. More sessions, maybe a club. Sarah agreed, her purpose growing. She was building strength, not just in herself, but in everyone. The TV in the cafeteria flickered, a U.S. envoy pushing for Iran-Israel peace talks. Sarah watched, her thoughts on the soldiers, on Ethan, on Claire. She'd faced bullies and won. But the world's fights were bigger, messier. Her classes were her way of fighting back, giving kids the tools to stand up, just as she had. A girl, Lily, approached after class. I stood up to a bully today, she said, beaming. Because of you, Sarah smiled, her heart full. Keep standing, she said. The news might show a world breaking, but here, in this small Ohio town, Sarah was building something stronger. One student, one lesson, one fight at a time. Sarah Wilson's self-defense classes packed Lincoln High's gym, her voice echoing over the thump of padded gloves. She'd become a beacon for students like Claire Evans and Ethan, her M&A champion past no longer a secret, but a source of inspiration. Jake Thompson and his crew had backed off, their bullying replaced by quiet respect, and Sarah's takedown of Westside High's Ryan Miller had cemented her as a protector. But the world beyond Maplewood, Ohio, loomed heavy. TVs blared updates on Iran and Israel. Ceasefire talks crumbling under new strikes, U.S. troops poised for action. The news stirred Sarah's memories of Detroit's gyms, where she'd learned strength meant control, not chaos. Now, as she taught kids to stand tall, a new threat emerged, one that would test her resolve not in a ring, but in a courtroom, where her courage would face its fiercest challenge yet. The school buzzed with Sarah's legend, her classes drawing crowds, girls like Lily, boys like Ethan, even Jake, learning to block and breathe under her steady gaze. But trouble brewed beyond the mats. Ryan Miller's father, a wealthy contractor, hadn't forgotten Sarah's humiliation of his son at the bus stop. Weeks after the incident, a lawyer's letter arrived at Sarah's home, accusing her of assault and claiming her unprovoked attack had pushed Ryan into further trouble, an arrest for harassing another girl. The Millers demanded Sarah face charges, painting her as a violent instigator. Sarah's stomach dropped as she read it, her mom, Dr. Laura Wilson, paling beside her. They're twisting it, Laura said, her voice tight. You protected those girls. Sarah nodded, her jaw set. I'm not running, Mom. I did what was right. The news spread fast, the town splitting. Some called Sarah a hero. Others whispered she'd gone too far. Local papers ran headlines, teen hero or vigilante. The TV in the cafeteria droned, Iran's drones clashing with Israeli defenses, the world's chaos mirroring Sarah's own. At school, Claire rallied behind her. "You saved us," she said, her eyes fierce. "We'll tell them the truth." Ethan, his glasses fogged with worry, hugged her. "You're not alone, Sarah," he said. Even Jake approached, his voice low. "This is BS," he said. "Anything I can do." Sarah smiled faintly. "Just keep learning," she said. Her classes grew, students drawn by her defiance, but the lawsuit's shadow loomed. Sarah's lawyer, Miss Carter, a sharp-eyed public defender, prepped her at home. "They've got money, but we've got truth," Carter said. "Witnesses video from the bus stop camera. It's solid." Sarah nodded, her fists clenching. "I didn't start it," she said. "I know," Carter replied. "And we'll prove it." The trial date was set, 2 months out, the wait agonizing. Sarah poured her energy into teaching, her gym sessions a refuge. "Duck pivot strike," she told her students, her voice steady. "Control the fight, not the fear." But at night, she lay awake, the news of global conflict blending with her own. Soldiers in the Gulf, Ryan's lies in court, her mom's worried eyes. The trial arrived, the Maplewood courthouse packed. Claire, Lily, and other girls sat in the front row, their faces resolute. Jake and Ethan were there, even Principal Bennett, his nod reassuring. Ryan's lawyer, a slick suit from Cleveland, opened with a venomous spin. "Sarah Wilson is a trained fighter who attacked an innocent teen," he said, his voice dripping pity. "Her aggression provoked my client's later actions." Sarah sat, her hands steady, her mom's grip tight beside her. Carter stood, her voice calm but cutting. Sarah acted in self-defense. "Protecting 4 girls from harassment," she said. "Let's hear the truth." Claire took the stand first, her voice shaking but clear. "Ryan grabbed my arm, threatened me," she said. Sarah told them to stop, but they attacked her first. Lily followed, her story matching. "They trapped us," she said. "Sarah saved us." A bystander, a shop clerk, confirmed it, and the bus stop's grainy video sealed it. Ryan's hand on Claire, his friend grabbing Sarah, her swift defense. Sarah's heart raced, the courtroom blurring, the news of Iran's latest strike fading from her mind. She was fighting here, now, for her truth. Sarah testified last, her voice steady. "I'm a Michigan junior MMA champion," she said. 4 years of training taught me control, not cruelty. That day, I used the least force needed to stop Ryan." Ryan's lawyer pounced. "You admit you hit him?" "Yes," Sarah said, unflinching. "Hard enough to stop him, not hurt him." "Could you have run?" he pressed. "And left those girls?" Sarah's eyes burned. Someone had to stand up. The courtroom hushed, her words landing like a punch. The jury deliberated for 30 minutes. "Not guilty," the judge declared. Applause erupted, Laura hugging Sarah, tears streaming. "You did it, honey," she whispered. "We did," Sarah said, nodding to Claire, Lily, Ethan. Outside, students cheered, Claire leading a chant, "Sarah, Sarah!" Jake clapped her shoulder, his grin wide. "Knew you'd win," he said. Ethan beamed, his glasses slipping. "You're still my hero," he said. Sarah's chest swelled, the weight lifting. The TV in a nearby diner flashed. Ceasefire talks resuming, hope flickering. Sarah felt it too, her fight won, her strength proven. That night, she taught her class, her voice stronger. "You don't need to be fearless," she said. "Just stand up when it counts." Lily raised her hand, "Like you did in court." Sarah smiled. "Exactly," she said, her purpose clear. She wasn't just a fighter, she was a leader, shaping a school, a town, a future. Sarah Wilson stood in Lincoln High's gym, her voice steady as she guided 30 students through a self-defense drill. The not guilty verdict from the trial against Ryan Miller's family had lifted a shadow, cementing her as a hero in Maplewood, Ohio. Her MMA champion past, once a secret, now fueled her mission to empower others. Jake Thompson, once her tormentor, now sparred respectfully, while Claire Evans and Ethan shone with newfound confidence. But the world's unrest lingered. TVs blared updates on Iran and Israel, ceasefire talks teetering as U.S. troops braced for conflict. Sarah saw parallels in her own battle's control, not chaos, was her strength. As she taught kids to stand tall, she found her true purpose. Not just fighting bullies, but building resilience in a world that needed it more than ever. The gym hummed with energy, students practicing blocks and stances under Sarah's watchful eye. Claire, once timid, now led warm-ups, her voice firm. Ethan, no longer a target, helped younger kids adjust their gloves. Even Jake, his former arrogance gone, stayed late to stack mats. "You've changed this place," he told Sarah after class, his tone earnest. "Should have seen it sooner." Sarah nodded, her smile faint but warm. "You're seeing it now," she said. Her classes had grown, drawing 50 students, including teachers and parents. Principal Bennett made them part of the curriculum, calling Sarah a natural leader. "You're giving these kids something real," he said. "Keep going." Sarah poured her heart into teaching, her Detroit training shaping her lessons. "Strength isn't just physical," she told her class. "It's standing up when you're scared." Lily, a shy freshman, raised her hand. "Like you in court?" she asked. "Exactly," Sarah said, her eyes softening. The trial had been grueling, Ryan's lawyers painting her as a thug, but Claire's testimony, the bus stop video, and Sarah's own calm truth had won the day. The victory wasn't just hers. It belonged to every student who'd stood by her, every kid she now taught to face their fears. The news flickered in the cafeteria, Iran's drones downed by Israeli defenses, and Sarah felt a kinship with those soldiers, fighting battles bigger than her own. A new challenge arose when Mia, a junior, approached Sarah after class, her eyes red. "My brother's deploying to the Gulf," she said, her voice breaking. "With all this Iran stuff, I'm terrified." Sarah sat with her voice steady. "He's trained, Mia," she said. "Like you're learning here. He'll find his strength." Mia nodded, her tears slowing. "You make me believe it," she said. Sarah's chest tightened. She wasn't just teaching punches. She was teaching hope. The world's chaos, mirrored in Mia's fear, pushed Sarah to expand her classes. She added sessions on conflict de-escalation, drawing from her MMA coach's wisdom. The best fight's the one you avoid. The school embraced her vision. Bennett secured funding for a self-defense club, and Sarah recruited Claire to co-lead, her confidence soaring. Jake joined as a sparring partner, his redemption clear in his effort. "You're not who I thought," he told Sarah, stacking mats. "Neither are you," she replied, a grin breaking through. Her influence spread. Students like Ethan stood up to bullies. Lily spoke louder in class, and even Kyle and Matt, Jake's old crew, apologized. "We were jerks," Kyle muttered. "Won't happen again." Sarah nodded. "Prove it," she said, and they did, joining her class, their attitudes shifting. The TV in Laura's kitchen showed U.S. diplomats pushing for an Iran-Israel ceasefire, a fragile hope amid rising tensions. Sarah watched, her mom beside her. "You're doing what they're trying to do," Laura said, her eyes proud. "Building peace." Sarah smiled, her heart full. "I'm just teaching kids to fight back," she said. Laura squeezed her hand. "It's more than that, honey. You're giving them courage." Sarah's purpose deepened. She saw her classes as a shield, not just against bullies, but against a world where fear could crush spirits. She wasn't in Detroit's ring anymore, but she was still a champion, fighting for those who needed it. A local news crew visited her class, drawn by her trial's publicity. "Sarah, why teach this?" the reporter asked, camera rolling. "Because strength isn't about hurting," she said. "It's about protecting, standing up when it's hard." The story aired, sparking interest beyond Maplewood. Parents from nearby towns enrolled their kids, and a veteran, Mr. Hayes, offered to co-teach, his military experience complementing Sarah's. "You remind me of my squad," he told her, his voice gruff. "Never left anyone behind." Sarah's classes became a movement, reducing bullying reports at Lincoln High by half. Students walked taller, their fear replaced by quiet resolve. One evening, Sarah found Ethan waiting after class, his glasses fogged. "I told a bully to back off today," he said, beaming. "Didn't even need to fight." Sarah's heart swelled. "That's the real win," she said, ruffling his hair. Ethan grinned, his shy hero worship clear. "You're still my superhero," he said. Sarah laughed, but inside, she felt it. Her purpose wasn't just teaching self-defense, it was teaching kids to believe in themselves, a lesson she'd learned facing Jake, Ryan in a courtroom. The news droned on. Ceasefire talks faltering, but Sarah's resolve held. She couldn't stop wars, but she could stop fear, one student at a time. Sarah Wilson stood at the center of Lincoln High's gym, her self-defense classes now a cornerstone of Maplewood, Ohio's school culture. The not guilty verdict had freed her, But her real triumph was the confidence she'd sparked in students like Claire Evans, Ethan, and even Jake Thompson, once her bully, now her ally. Her M&A champion past, once hidden to honor her mom's wish for normalcy, had become a beacon, transforming Lincoln High into a place where strength meant standing up, not striking down. The cafeteria TV flickered with cautious hope. Iran and Israel's ceasefire talks inching forward, U.S. diplomats touting progress. Sarah saw her own fight in that fragile peace, building something lasting, not just winning battles. As she led her students, her legacy grew, not just in school, but in a community learning to value courage over fear. The gym buzzed with 50 students, their gloves thumping pads as Sarah called out drills. Claire Coe led, her once timid voice now sharp with authority. Ethan, no longer a target, mentored younger kids, his glasses glinting with pride. Jake, fully reformed, sparred with precision, his respect for Sarah clear. "You've changed everything," he told her after class, stacking mats, smiled. "We all did," she said. Principal Bennett had made her program official, funded by the district, and named it Stand Strong. It wasn't just self-defense. It was a mindset teaching kids to face bullies, fear, or doubt with control. Sarah's classes had slashed bullying reports, the school's halls quieter, kinder. Her influence spread beyond Lincoln High. Local papers ran stories teen hero transformed school culture. A regional TV segment featured Sarah, her voice steady. "Strength is protecting, not hurting," she said, her students nodding behind her. Parents enrolled kids from nearby towns, and teachers joined, inspired by her calm authority. Mr. Hayes, the veteran coach, shared military stories, his gruff warmth complementing Sarah's precision. "You're building an army of heart," he told her, his eyes crinkling. Sarah laughed. "Just a team," she said, but her heart swelled. She was shaping lives, just as her Detroit coach, Master Daniels, had shaped hers. The world's news kept Sarah grounded. Iran-Israel talks held, but tension simmered, soldiers still on alert. She saw her students in those reports. Young, brave, facing battles bigger than themselves. At home, her mom, Dr. Laura Wilson, watched the news with her. "You're doing what they're trying to do," Laura said, her voice proud. "Making peace." Sarah nodded, her purpose clear. "I'm teaching them to fight for themselves," she said. Laura hugged her. "You're teaching them to live." Their bond, strained by Sarah's broken promise to stay quiet, had healed through her courage, her mother now her biggest supporter. Sarah's classes became a movement. She started a weekend seminar series, traveling to nearby schools, teaching kids and parents to de-escalate conflicts. A shy girl, Mia, approached after one session. "I stopped a bully today," she said, her eyes bright. "Didn't fight, just stood up, like you said." Sarah's chest warmed. "That's the real strength," she said. Mia beamed, echoing Ethan's hero worship. "You're my role model," she said. Sarah shook her head. "You're your own," she said, but the words lingered, her impact undeniable. Her seminars drew crowds, reducing bullying across the county, her name synonymous with courage. One day, a letter arrived from a Texas girl, Lily, who'd read Sarah's story. "I was bullied for my weight," she wrote. "Your story made me join karate. I stood up to my bullies, and they stopped. Thank you for showing me I'm strong." Sarah read it, tears prickling. She pinned it to her board, next to her Michigan M&A trophy, a reminder of her calling. She wasn't just teaching punches. She was teaching kids to believe in themselves, to face their fears like she'd faced Jake Ryan in a courtroom. The news flashed. Ceasefire talks gaining ground, a rare hope. Sarah felt it too, her work a small piece in a chaotic world. At Lincoln High's graduation, Sarah stood as student council president, her cap and gown crisp. "Dear classmates," she said, her voice carrying. "I came here scared, hiding who I was. But you, Claire, Ethan, Jakey, showed me strength isn't hiding, it's standing up." The crowd cheered, her words resonating. "Don't be afraid to be you," she said. "That's where change starts." Jake, now headed to college for social work, hugged her after. "You saved me, too," he said. "We saved each other," Sarah replied, her smile wide. The school had transformed. No bullying, an honor court resolving conflicts, a legacy of kindness. Sarah's senior year ended, but her impact didn't. She enrolled in Ohio State, studying psychology to become a youth counselor, her seminars now a regional program. The TV reported a stable ceasefire, soldiers coming home. Sarah watched, her heart full. She couldn't stop wars, but she could stop fear. Her mom joined her at a seminar, pride in her eyes. "You're my hero," Laura said. Sarah hugged her. "You taught me first," she said. Her students, now leaders themselves, carried her lessons forward, a network of courage spreading. Sarah wasn't just a champion. She was a light, proving strength and kindness could change a school, a town, a world. Sarah stood outside Lincoln High's gym. The Ohio stars bright above, the ceasefire held, a fragile peace mirroring her own. A year ago, she'd been a scared girl, hiding her strength to fit in. Now, she was a leader, her MMA skills a tool not for fighting, but for lifting others. Claire's confidence, Ethan's bravery, Jake's redemption. Her classes, her seminars. Her story had built a community where kids stood tall, unafraid. She thought of her mom, her coach, the soldiers on TV, all fighting for something better. "I'm not hiding anymore," she whispered, her breath steady. Her scars, physical and not, were her strength, her purpose to protect, to inspire. The world was messy, but Sarah was ready, her heart whole, her legacy just beginning. If stories like this move you, hit the like button and subscribe. There's more to come. Be brave, be kind, and never hide your light.